If you're someone who is tired of getting money and watching it fly out of your bank account, if you are tired of having too much month at the end of your money, if you are tired of making irresponsible and poor financial decisions, then this is the video for you. I am somebody that is in the business space. I have experienced 10k months, 30k months, and I have still found a way to manage my money immaturely, which has then caused a lot of strain later on in life. So I'm going to be taking you through the 5 habits that kept me broke and how to avoid them so that you can become more mature with your money and more financially sound and stop living that broke life. Okay, if you know you spend too much, if you know you make immature decisions, if you know you make irresponsible decisions with money, then I feel like you'll relate to at least a few of these 5 habits. So for those who are new here, I am Jess and I'm actually starting a whole new stream of videos on this channel. So this will be one of the first, and I'm really going to be diving into personal development, entrepreneurship, business tips, and also productivity and personal development as well. It's a whole new vibe that I'm going down on this channel because there's so much value that I want to share. So if that sounds up your street and you want to learn a little bit more about entrepreneurship, productivity, how to level up, how to reinvent yourself, and all of those success habits that I think we're all trying to search and find, then this is definitely the community for you. So habit number 1 that has kept me broke is financial immaturity and poor financial management. I used to be somebody that would run away from numbers. I did not budget. I couldn't even tell you how much my direct debits totaled because I just let it go. I just carried on with my life and let money come in and out of my bank account and wondered why I was getting so low every single month. And it's because I didn't take the numbers seriously. I didn't manage my money properly. I didn't split my money out properly. I lived month paycheck to paycheck. But there was always bad decisions that were made in the process. And my biggest tip to you, if you're trying to go on a journey to having better financial management and having more wealth in your life, is to understand the numbers around you. It's the same with everything. If you don't understand the evidence and you don't dive into the evidence around you and the insights, then you're never going to be able to spot trends, to identify areas that you might be overpaying on bills or not realizing that you forgot to cancel that subscription. And these subscriptions that I definitely used to forget about ended up costing me an extra couple of £100 a year just because of lack of care and just poor financial management. So one thing that I really want to challenge you guys to do if you are on this journey to having better financial management is spend a few hours and go through your bank statements. See what bills come out, see what reoccurring bills come out, and just put them in a spreadsheet, a tracker, or pen to paper, and just get a handle on how much you're actually paying out every month versus what's coming in. And just as a basic starting point, just identify what that income is that you have to play with every single month. But one thing that I want you to do over and above that is identify where you might have subscriptions and little sneaky bills that are coming out that you are completely unaware of, okay? And this is where the poor financial management came in for me, was how blissfully unaware I was that I was paying £2,400 a month on everything. Like, you name it, I had that subscription, okay? And it was things that I'd forgotten about, Apple subscription, services that I'd signed up for a free trial and forgotten about. And it also encourages you just to actually go through your bill, and it will just allow you to get clear and at least have a starting point of where the gaps might be and exactly what is coming in and out as a minimum every month. And to some of you guys watching this video, this might seem like, why would you not do that? Okay, but I know that there's other girlies out there who are on this journey who also had poor financial management, like myself, did not have a handle on bills every month, did not have a handle on what was going in and going out. And I really want to encourage you, if you're watching this video, don't just allow yourself to watch the next video. Pause this, or straight after this video, go and have a look at your bills and just write everything down. Get clear on the numbers first, okay? Habit number 2, finance and direct debits. I am the queen of finance and direct debits, and it is not a title to be proud of. If you're somebody like me who sees an item and thinks that it's gonna benefit you paying it monthly, this is a habit that kept me broke, okay? Because every time I saw an item, rather than just paying it off, I added it to my direct debits. And whilst at the time it might not seem like a lot, £20 here, £50 here, a new laptop could be £90, £80, £90 a month. Okay, as its own individual item, that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you fall into the habit, which we all do, of wanting the instant gratification now and getting to worry about it later, is that we end up building up this mountain of direct debits, which I definitely did. Okay, I had Very accounts, I bought things on Klarna, which is something I am really trying to avoid now forever, to be honest. Is I either buy it now because I can afford to buy it now and I need it right now, or I don't buy it at all. And even with my car being on finance, that's one of my biggest direct debits, is having a car on finance. And whilst I don't think there's anything wrong with having PCP, it's actually made me money over the years. I actually was able to make £3 in cash through a PCP deal when I was up for renewal. So I actually don't think that these are bad finances to get into. Mortgage is technically a finance, but it's more the little individual items that at the time feels like a good idea to split the cost, but actually can we just pay it off in full and not deal with this mentality of worrying about it later, because that later will catch up with you at some point. And especially if you form a habit of doing this, you end up just building and piling up the amount that is going out of your bank account every month. And that is a habit that I'm definitely working on at the moment, is reducing down my direct debits, because I have so many that I actually have to have different tabs and different columns for different direct debits to section them out, because if I put them in a list, it would be too long on a spreadsheet. Okay, that's when you know that it's a problem. So I'd really encourage you guys to just analyze what have you got on finance right now, and when you come to making purchases, if you can't afford to do it, maybe don't do it. Maybe save up and maybe give yourself the goal to have that item, because every now and again, I don't think it's a bad thing to do, but what often happens is we become not greedy, but we're so used to paying that direct debit now that it doesn't seem like a lot to add another one. And then before you know it, these direct debits do stack up to £200–300 a month, and they keep you broke, because no matter how much money you then go on to earn, you still have that amount and that big chunk that is coming out every single month. Okay, so to avoid this, we are gonna stop worrying about it later and start worrying about that purchase right now, because sometimes it seems like a great idea, but if you can't afford to buy it in the first place, is that the right financial decision to make? And for those who know me, you will be so proud of me delivering this video right now, because this is how I lived for so long. And like I said, my direct debits are huge because of that, and it's something that I'm really working on. Number 3 is a biggie, and being an influencer myself, I know that I can contribute to this problem sometimes, which is being on trend. Okay, whether it's Celine, Chanel handbags, whether it's Jacquemus handbags, whether it's Chloe sandals or Telfar bags, whatever it might be, there's always going to be a new trend. Okay, and if you get caught in the loop of buying into the trends that are going on, it never ends, because just as you probably buy that item, it goes out of trend and something comes in. And we've seen it, especially in the fashion world, so much. You know, chunky trainers, big Balenciaga Triple S trainers were the trend. Now I'm seeing people transitioning into Adidas Samba and Adidas Gazelles. I'm seeing a big trend to like dress in very old money. I'm seeing vintage coming back through, and there's so many different trends that what it does is it forces us to overconsume and probably be very wasteful with the items that we have. I know for me, any trended item that I have bought has not then been a staple in my wardrobe and has not then got its cost per wear in my wardrobe. Okay, and as an influencer, I think there is a lot of pressure to be on trend and to be showcasing the on trend items and promoting them and all of that good stuff, and all it does is forces us to step on this merry-go-round that we can't really get off, because there's always something new. And when you really buy into trends, it's actually quite a tiring, and I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but it never ends. You're never going to be fully fulfilled if you're constantly chasing the next trend. And this is really where I'm trying to make the shift to investing in staple pieces rather than wasting a lot of items through trends. Now, the only one thing that trends can be good for sometimes is buying and reselling. If you are to buy an item that drops, for example, the Panda Dunks, they went crazy. If you managed to get them at the right price, you could have sold them for a lot more. And that's the same with a lot of items that do trend, is if you can kind of get them and get rid of them in the time that they're trending, there is money in there for you. But I don't believe it personally that it's a sustainable way to live, and it definitely hasn't been for me, because there's always going to be a new thing out there. There's always going to be a new iPhone or a better Chanel bag or a better athleisure brand for the girlies to buy into. There's always going to be something else, and this is where I'd really encourage you guys to just find what works for you. Find the items that you like, invest in the items that are going to stay in your wardrobe and get a lot of wear, rather than trying to chase the trends. And this isn't to say never buy an item if you do like it and it's on trend, but at least think about it for a few weeks, because this is my toxic trait. I think I need it right now. Hence the finance and the direct debits, and hence the poor financial responsibility, because I hadn't even budgeted for some of these items that I went and bought, and that's a habit that definitely kept me broke. So number 3 was being on trend. Number 4 is not investing and just doing quick fixes, okay? This is something especially in the fashion industry, but can be applicable in any setting, is buying things cheaply or not actually getting the proper thing that you want and getting something that's kind of similar, or it doesn't quite fit what you need, but it's cheaper and it's quicker and it's more convenient. This will cost you more in the long run. And this is really where, from a fashion perspective, I'm really looking at investing back into my wardrobe and not just constantly buying items that get really tatty really fast, that cost me more in the long run. Because if I go through a certain item every couple of months, which let's say cost me £20 a time, so if I had to rebuy it twice, that would be £60. Or I could just invest in a proper good quality item that I only need to buy once and lives in my wardrobe for a lot longer, okay? And this isn't to say to never do this. This isn't to say never shop in Primark or never shop fast fashion and don't shop those brands, but it's just having the right mindset with it. We've all definitely been guilty of just ordering next day delivery, getting an outfit for the weekend, and having that convenient element to things. And it doesn't even just mean fashion. It could be doing a job on the cheap in your home that's going to cost you more in the long run, because you didn't just take the time to fully plan it out and invest. And number 5 is lack of planning. And this comes from point number 1, with just actually getting a handle on the numbers and understanding where you're at. But number 5 is actually taking the time to plan. And this is not just about planning the physical cash every month of how much money do I have spare and what am I going to allocate it to. This comes down to planning your meals, planning your calendar out so that you understand what's coming up, so that you can budget properly for these things. And I know for me, lack of planning is usually where I get caught out with spending, because I forget that this plan's in place, and before I know it, I need fuel, I need parking, I need to pay for the food bill, and then I get a little bit carried away because I've not planned it out, because I'm kind of just in an effort kind of mentality. I end up spending more in the long run because I haven't kind of predetermined what my budget is or a plan for those things. The same with meals. If I fail to plan, quite often I find myself going out and buying more food in or finding a quick fix, rather than just taking the time to go through the cupboards and just seeing what I have, because I haven't given myself that time to plan. And that's definitely a habit that has kept me broke, because I want you guys to do this as well. Go through your bank statements, go through your transactions, and just look at where that money has slipped out of your bank account without even realizing, and you don't even remember spending that much. Because again, it was something that you just weren't mindful of and you didn't plan. And guys, I want you to understand that these habits are not necessarily to never do these things again, but it's to get a real handle on it if you want to become more wealthy, okay? And there's a famous quote that I cannot remember for the life of me who told me, but the quote says, if you can't manage £10, what makes you think you can manage 10,000 or 1 million? okay? And it's really about having the discipline with the smaller figures, which will then ripple out and allow you to become more financially mature and responsible with the bigger amounts of money, okay? Because really it's no different. It's just a number on the screen. And you need to learn how to manage the pennies to manage the pounds. This is all from personal experience. This is all from things that I know have definitely kept me broke and kept me on this merry-go-round and this cycle of just never really having a true handle on my finances. So I would love to know if you guys related to any of these points, which one resonated with you the most, and which one are you going to be working on. And let's all agree and commit that we are going to walk into wealth together. We are going to become mature with our money. We are going to become mature with our responsibilities and decisions that come with finances, and we're going to step into that wealthier era of ourselves. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe before you leave if you haven't already.